Blue Lock Chapter 301 has just released. We got the boys celebrating salaries for the overseas players and updates on other characters as well. For a non-football chapter, this was actually a glorious chapter start to finish, and it contained a lot of information. So I want to cover it all, as well as my thoughts on it, so let's go. Chapter starts off with everyone leaving the NEL. We see Charles, Noel, Noah, and Loki walking off. Lavinho and Prince walking out as well, and Prince smirking a little too hard for going 0 and 4. Bro has no remorse for Nagi as well. I'm gonna be honest though, as long as the NEL was, it's a bittersweet goodbye. The next time we see some of these characters will be years in real time. So a big toast and salute to the NEL, an actual roller coaster of an arc. Seeing every player walk off is kind of sad, including Kaiser. We get a little more focus on him specifically. As you know, he was the main rival since the start of the arc, but as he walks down the hallway, Ness follows him. And after all that happened in the PXG game, with Kaiser abandoning him, treating him like he was in a COD lobby, even telling bro to quit football, he rightfully asks Ness why he's still following him. Which makes sense, honestly, but we just got Ness making a Leorio face instead. Bro low-key does not care about what Kaiser is saying, even though he's telling him that's enough and that the Kaiser he believed in was an illusion, even calling himself bad. There's honestly levels to this besides the surface conversation. It legit goes back to when they first met and Kaiser asked Ness if he believed in the impossible. Obviously, Kaiser referring to himself and when they first met, even saying that they're broken, telling him to get lost. And this is character development at its finest, folks, because we all know Ness is a D1 crash out, and usually we would see him go through the 5 stages of grief all at once, but he's still keeping up the Leorio face. In fact, he tells Kaiser that he'll stay by his side, and yeah, this is the last thing Kaiser wants to hear because he asks him if he's good in the head, and Kaiser is still giving himself the thumbs down, talking about how he threw away Ness for victory and still lost to Isagi. And again, Ness with the character development because he hits Kaiser with the no, I don't think I will. This is a big 360 from the Ness who would donate his life savings if Kaiser literally asked. He even adds on that Kaiser is a flesh and blood human being, and this is just fire writing. Kaiser doesn't see himself as anything, and Ness still does. Is this even Ness at this point? Gary V literally possessed him. Actual rare Ness W. The symbolism is crazy. They actually managed to turn this character around from one of the most hated to a still hated but well-written character. Kaiser ain't really messing with the emotions though and hits Ness with this face. Bro really think he Eren Yeager? Ness tells Kaiser that with his ego, he wants to cast a spell on his broken self, so it comes full circle. Ness is the one to help Kaiser at his lowest, like he once did before. Even if you don't like the duo, you still gotta appreciate the writing. But as he says this, we get the final bids for the overseas players, and I know everyone's been waiting to see what the salaries are. We got Kaiser at 400 million, Lorenzo at 280 million, Ness at 130 million, Charles at 110 million, and Augie at 80 million. Now, there is a few suspect salaries among us. Ness being higher than Charles is kind of crazy work when you first look at it. But does Ness deserve his salary? Probably. Last time we saw his salary was during a Barcha, so he could have increased in the games before. It wasn't just one big 80 million increase. There was 3 more games. Let's be honest though, he did nothing in Ubers, and half the time he was on screen, he was getting clowned on by Isagi or Kaiser. So I don't know about the rest of the games, but did he deserve a higher salary? Yes, probably for the last assist, but I don't know about that high. Charles, skill-wise, should have gotten way more. I mean, bro literally assisted every goal in PXG. Compare that to Ness, who only got 2 assists throughout the NEL. It is a night and day difference between who got more assists. It kind of makes sense when you factor in Charles's age and the fact that he stopped playing at times. 110 million for a 15-year-old is still nuts. So it makes sense if they based his salary off of his inexperience, but bro might just be the next new Gen 11, the new Gen 11? So why aren't we going all in on the Charles stocks? It's kind of a mystery to me. At least the rest of the salaries are pretty accurate. Real still bid on Kaiser even higher. Lorenzo, my GOAT, being at 280 million is hype. I know he excited for that bag. Augie at 80 million for going 0 and 4 and no stated goals is still all right. But then the announcement comes on telling the top 23 players to get some rest, with the next itinerary being tomorrow at 9 a.m. and to please wear your suits. boys. Yes, sir. The boys are getting dripped out. Everyone on the bus in their suits, and we looking clean. My boy Bachara talking about how this is his first time wearing a fancy suit, and we gotta give some snaps to the boy. He looking dapper. Everyone getting some screen time here, asking about what they're doing and what they need the suits for. Barou and Karasu looking fly per usual. Sendo still hungry for fame, wondering if it was a meeting with a journalist. This man trying to get his name out there so he can really get that Hollywood actress. This guy Rin trying to be nonchalant per usual with his sleep mask. They could be taking this guy to Squid Games and he would still not care. Rayo's going through it the most though, as we see him just looking out the window with a pensive face. Somebody got to check up on the man. Two goats are sitting right next to each other though, Gagamaru and Isagi, the OGs. However, Isagi's lost in thought, thinking about Nagi. It's been a long time for us since his elimination, but it's only been a day for them, so it's still hitting them at the moment. He even wonders about what Rayo is thinking, still not believing that Nagi is actually gone. However, his thoughts are interrupted as they finally arrived at their destination. The windows go down and ends up they're in the middle of a parade. Everyone cheering. We see people wearing Isagi and Rin jerseys, repping the BLUELOCK merch. I'm pretty sure me and you could be seen in the audience too. This some Lady Gaga concert type of energy we got going on here. The amount of people for just the BLUELOCK gang is actually crazy. They're legit superstars in the BLUELOCK verse, even as U20 players. They all take to the top where we see our boys just getting hyped to the max. We see Raichi, Zansetsu, and Corona looking on out, and this just puts a smile on your face. BLUELOCK always does slice of life super well. This is like the day off chapter we got after the U20 game, and that was one of the best BLUELOCK chapters in general. We got zero hesitation from Matoya. He sees an opportunity and he will take it. He's trying to bring the Huz on the bus, but Karasu had to step in. Hiyori is surprised, and Yukimiya says it's thanks to BLUELOCK TV. We see Bachara saying he loves everyone, and we love you too, bro, except maybe Nagi fans. Kunigami and Shigiri are shown as well, and Kunigami, being the Debbie Downer he is, just keeps his hands in his pockets, not saying anything. Bruh, we really seeing the outside world for the first time in months. No days off, and we still D1 hating on the breath of fresh air. We not on camera anymore, bro. You can give up the act. This is legit Kunigami right now. The outside's not for me, reaction. Rin and Shido are just shown looking over. Sendo's still trying to clout chase, and Nico, Kiora, and Gagamaru are making peace signs. Isagi gets his name chanted in the crowd and talks about how he's able to create such enthusiasm. Yes, bro, you wouldn't believe the amount of glazers you have in the real world too. He talks about how this is the beauty of football, how he feels good and also scared because someone can become a hero with one blow, but also lose it just as easily, obviously referring to Nagi. And our glorious Go announces that this is the reason why he won't get satisfied until the moment he becomes the best in the world. The Isagi fanboys are in tears right now. We all pulling out the PXG goal celebration because this is just hype, man. The aura eye, the pose, everything is just perfect. And as he wraps it up talking about how he won't go back to the world without football, we're reminded of someone who's now in that situation. Of course, Nagi is shown once again, but this time with Choki the Cactus, where he's actually shown returning home with absolutely no emotions in his eyes, and the announcement that there is 50 days left to the World Cup. Alright, like I said, for a chapter without any actual football, this was really good. Insane character development, hyping up our characters, and closure on others. I think the announcement of 50 days left to the World Cup pretty much confirms we are getting a training arc before the games actually start. There is no way we're skipping 50 days and getting straight to it. The next chapter is called That's Enough, and honestly, I have no clue what this could be referring to. Maybe Ego bringing the reins back in on the celebration, telling everyone to lock in, or maybe it's relating to Nagi and his ego. They are continuing to show him after he's being eliminated, so maybe there's more to Nagi. This was such a good farewell to the NEL. We see everyone leaving, hyping up our boys, showing how big the NEL really was and the effect it had, as well as a cliffhanger towards Kaiser and Ness development, two big characters in the NEL, which will obviously be huge during the U20 World Cup. Last thing I want to mention is Baratsuta getting the volume cover, yet he hasn't done anything in this volume. There is 3 more chapters left, so within the next 3 chapters, he could be doing something. Possibly, it could be relating to Nagi because on the volume cover, there is his pin. That might just be copium though, or it could be finally answering what his conversation with Ray Dark was about. Regardless, we're entering a new phase for BLUELOCK, and it's super hype. I'm excited to see what new things we're going to get, like the new characters or the training arc. My previous previous video was a prediction on what this potential training arc could be, so make sure you check that one out. Anyways, that about wraps it up. These chapters don't miss, man. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. If you made it to the end though, thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see y'all in the next one.